Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sam Killer, and the Serum 2 hype is real because today we're making another Serum base here. So without talking much longer, let's go into our DAW and get started with this tutorial. So here we are yet again in Serum 2, and I'm just gonna use the default shapes here inside of Serum 2. So I'm gonna select 2 octaves down here. That sounds perfect. And I'm gonna add a LFO here. I'm gonna set it to 1 way here. I'm gonna select a very slow rate of about 2 bars. And I'm gonna draw a shape like this. And let's set it to around 27. There we go, that's perfect, but it's not sounding like a Neuro Reese because we need to add some unison, and we're gonna be controlling it with this here. Still not sounding like a Neuro Reese because we need to set the width to 0%. And so now we can do some fun stuff here. So we're gonna make this preset modular. So I'm gonna add a macro here. And this is gonna be the speed macro here. I think we're done here in the unison tab here. Now I'm gonna add some white noise here, and we can use a classic white noise here from the Serum 1 noise folder here, or we can go and use a new white noise here inside of Serum 2, because now Serum 2 comes with some color modes here. So you can, for example, select the Geiger. We have some brown noise, some pink noise. So let's actually try out with the Geiger noise here, see how that's the result. Now let's add a filter, and I'm going to use a high 24 filter here. I'm going to set the drive all the way up. And now I'm gonna add some hyperdimension to give it some stereo. As well as some distortion here. And we're gonna use the overdrive here and set it to a stack of like 4. I'm not a huge fan of the rest of this, what it's doing here. And again, we're gonna play around here with our macros. Let's add a compressor here in multiband mode. And let's also go here into the matrix and let's add a third macro. So let's remember this one. It's called the filter macro here. And now let's add a auxiliary source here on macro number 3. And now we can do something fun. So we can adjust here the curve here. So you know that this point here is a value. So let's adjust the grid a little bit so that we know that this thought here is that value. So let's add a few different modes. So set it that from here to here so that it does some sharp triggering here. Whoops. So that way it's more precise when we're adjusting macros with the mod remap here. So this allows you to be very precise with the controls of the macros here, which is something that was available in Vital that they've now added native into Serum 2 that was not available in Serum 1. So now let's call this one pitch. Perfect. Now I'm going to add a second filter here. It's going to be inside of this effect rack here. And I'm going to add the multi-high notch filter. I'm going to add a different LFO here. And this is what's going to give it that really cool sound. We can also add a phaser, which is going to give it some cool stereo movement. So we're going to disable the depth here. Let's add a equalizer to sort of clean up the patch a little bit. We can adjust and select, for example. So for example, with this sine wave, it doesn't sound super cool because instead of using the overdrive, we could use a very aggressive tube. And since we're doing a little bit of the high pass, we can do something very interesting. So let's try something out. So let's go again here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a macro here that's going to be a very advanced macro that's going to completely switch up the sound here, the preset. So I'm going to select this macro here first and route it into this drive. And let's start so that we don't forget creating the mod remaps. So let's click like this. Perfect. Let's make sure that it's on the middle, 50%. So there we go. Let's now have this macro go. Let's do a few. Let's go again into the matrix once more. Let's create these macros like this. So this tutorial went from making a narrow filler base to creating 2 bases here in one tutorial. So now what we need to do, so right now we know that this let's have that this filter knob here, which is controlled by macro number 2, is also controlled by macro number 4, which is going to be our second base. And let's put it on the inverse. So right now this is enabled right here, and this is disabled. And of course it's not working because we need to drag this down. So that's completely disabled the filter knob. And now what we're gonna do, and let's also disable the filter frequency here with macro number 4 here. Again, same curve type here, like this, so that it disables it. Now we need to disable LFO number 2 here on the filter effect. So let's go here into the mod macro number 4 here. And this is what really is going to be game changer here in Serum 2, is that these new Serum 2 preset packs that are going to be coming out are going to have some amazing, crazy mod remapping happening inside of Serum, where knobs are going to be like a completely different level of transformation in music sound design. So now we need to, let's remove this so that maybe we could add a little bit more high end now. And let's add a little bit more. So let's disable the first macro here, unison detune on macro number 4 here again. And this is like, I'm telling you guys, this is gonna be what's really gonna change the game. It's doing these remaps or this curve edits, because you could edit curves inside of Serum 1. It just wasn't as advanced as what I'm doing right now here in Serum 2. So let's add and I don't want it for LFO to control the macro as well here. So again, once more, we're doing some really advanced sound design here. And let's disable the pitch for 1 minute. So let's add this LFO, or let's add this one instead, but in the reverse format. Let's now add a macro or a remap. So this doesn't affect the main Reese filler bass. I really want some aggressive detuning. I'm gonna add a second distortion type here. And this is really awesome too if you modulate. Like creating that automation where it starts with this saw neural bass and then it goes into the sine wave distorted fart bass. Let's see what's happening here. So macro number 4. This is not adjusted here, so let's adjust this once more. And this as well. Now let's copy this with mods, paste with mods, remove all modulators here. Remove all modulators. And set this to direct out. For some reason, the LFO, the second LFO isn't working right now. So let's see what's happening here. So something strange is happening here. So we had to readjust here. So modulations looks like they're still a little bit buggy. This is the first version of Serum 2, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be fixed in future updates. We can add a little bit of crunch by adding some distortion here. And let's clean this up a little bit with a low pass. And that's how powerful Serum 2 is. You can create some really complex patches here inside of Serum 2 using the power of mod remaps, using some of the amazing new features inside of the oscillators, and using the new effects modules here inside of Serum, where you can add multiple instances of the same effects like with the distortion, for example. Serum 2 is a completely next level of synthesizer. And it's pretty much, if Serum 1 was pretty much unlimited sound design, Serum 2 is on a whole different level. So hopefully you learn some advanced techniques to improve your sound design and take your music to the next level here with this tutorial. I want to know what you guys thought and what you guys want to learn and want to see next by commenting down below the next tutorials that you guys want to see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was Soundkiller as always. While you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe so that I know that you guys are enjoying the content. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.